Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of the We Win podcast powered by Accelerate Her Africa. I am your host, Lolita Ejiofor, and it's wonderful to have you all today listening. Today, we're joined by Marina Vandeberg, a transformational leader who knows what it takes to build something extraordinary from the ground up. With over 20 years of change leadership experience, Marina spent 12 and a half years as a general manager at an automation and electrical installation company. But here's the remarkable part. She took it from literally nothing to a thriving, profitable enterprise. Starting with a greenfield operation, Marina applied her expertise in general management, finance, and commercial strategy to create lasting success. Marina's journey exemplifies the art of transformational leadership, taking vision, combining it with practical business acumen, and turning potential into performance. Please join me in welcoming Marina Vandeberg. Hello, Marina. Thank you for joining us here today on the We Win podcast. It's really great to have you here.
Hello, Lolita. Nice to be with you as well. Thank you for inviting.
You spent over a decade in the highly structured, prestigious world of PwC. What would you say was your motivation for leaving to start up your own company? Was it more about running towards something new or running away from the corporate world?
I must say that it was none of either, none of both of these situations. I was not running towards something new or running away from corporate world. It was rather following my family. My ex-husband wanted to return to his home country. He got a good job proposition, and I was also just about to have a baby. And I thought I will take 1 year maternity leave. If something goes wrong, I can always return to PwC London, where I then worked. So it was, of course, a change, but it was not that major change. And I had ways to return back if required. So it was just a smooth, natural change for me, and not running away or running towards something new.
Well, it makes perfect sense. I mean, it's a family affair, right? So leaving a long-term career like that is a huge identity shift. What was the hardest part of no longer being Marina from PwC and becoming Marina the founder?
Marina, the mother, was easy. It was a third child, and it's always a pleasure and a natural way. But I must say, leaving PwC, stopping to be Marina, the PwC member, it was quite hard, I must say, because you are used to, that people, when you say that you are a PwC person, everybody immediately start to respect you. You don't need to even do anything. They already put you in a certain place and give you a certain position and respect you only for that. While when you start your own business, you have to prove that you are also something and that you can have serious things. But I must say that starting again working, and I started my own advisory projects in the time. And when you start to work for clients start to appreciate you for your work and appreciate you for your knowledge. And that brings you, again, respect from people and comfort. Being a PwC person, in a way, the price companies have to pay for your involvement is much higher than when you can do, in a way, much more, but for a reasonable price for people, and still you can earn yourself something, and you achieve a lot of things and satisfaction through that. But also in my particular case, I was quite quickly promoted by one of the clients to the managing director of their new subsidiary. And that also gives you some respect and comfort. Yes. And you think, oh, yeah, it's very cool. I'm not the managing director of a company. It's brings you also a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I cannot say I suffered for a long time.
Yeah, but despite your initial fear of leaving PwC, you still had enough competence to earn the respect of your clients, even to the point of becoming an MD of their subsidiary. So you learned a lot. I hope it was a confidence boost for you. I'm sure it was a confidence boost for you. Okay.
I must say also, sorry, Lolita, just to continue a little bit on this, PwC or this type of advisory firms or audit firms, Big Four, Big Five in the past, it's a good school also to start. When you learn a lot of different businesses there, you learn to approach different people. They give you a lot of also training, how to communicate with people, how to resolve issues. So in that respect, I was happy I worked for PwC in the past and I could apply my knowledge and my experience and expertise from those times in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. What's a lesson about risk, failure, or resilience that you could only have learned by building a business from scratch that your time in advisory service could never have taught you?
I must say I have started several times a new business from scratch, and sometimes it was for my own business when I had to take responsibilities fully for my startup. But 2 times I had to start subsidiaries for bigger groups existing who wanted to enter a new country and hired me to start for them their businesses. And it's, of course, a very different feeling because when you do it for somebody else, you have a backup of a bigger group who is prepared to invest. And you take a risk maybe, but you also know that if something goes wrong, you risk your career, but you still don't lose your own money. When you start your own business, you have to ensure that you have to calculate very well and have a business plan and have some analysis. Do you do it alone? Do you do it with partners? Do you do it with employees? If with employees, you have to ensure that every month you will have enough cash to pay people's salaries, and because you take responsibilities for them.
Yeah.
Even if you do it alone, you have to also ensure that, your family will not suffer because you don't bring money. I must say it is very important to have a good support of your family. And for example, in case of a couple, it's very useful if one of the spouses works and have a steady permanent income so that the other spouse, and it's relevant for both a man or a woman, that if you don't have some income for some time, that you still can survive as a family, and definitely with children, so that your children don't suffer, that your family doesn't suffer. So in that respect, it is important to understand very well where your finance for a certain period will come from. Either you have to have some investors believing in you, or your family has to be prepared to support you for some time, or you have to find partners with whom you can share the responsibilities. But it is an important factor, financial stability and financial backup during the startup phase. I think that's the most important.
Yes. I think what you've also shown is that starting up your own business doesn't have to be a lonely place. When you have a great support system in place like family, it does help for you to manage your risks adequately.
Absolutely. But also a lot of things which you get for granted in the corporate world, you all of a sudden don't have all that support, and you have to ensure all yourself that your computer works well, that if you have a question, you don't have anybody to ask for it. While for example, in PwC, you have support and you can always call an expert in certain field and they will tell you, or you speak with other colleagues who have experience in that. So when you go by yourself, you just have to rely on yourself. But of course, you eventually build up a network, and you find a way to find out things, and you learn to be more independent, etc. But it's not always easy. You have to be prepared to tackle with that.
Absolutely. So can you take us back to the earliest days of building your software company? What does day one look like for a founder when you have a blank slate in front of you and have to build a thriving, profitable business?
Okay, the software company I worked for was not my own business. It was a subsidiary of a bigger group, bigger engineering group. And I started to work with them as an advisor again. They decided to build a subsidiary in the country where I come from in Russia. And the subsidiary was necessary to perform a project which the group had already concluded with Volkswagen. Volkswagen was building a new plant, and we were one of the subcontractors.
Right.
So that was a major advantage, that we already had a project. We had a project, we had to find a way to perform it. We were an engineering company with experience, with brains, with a large background of similar projects, with engineers. As a backup in the back of my newly created company. But of course, it's all somewhere there. It was a German group, so the specialists were in Germany, in Poland, in Ukraine, in China. But we had 0 employees in our town where we were building the subsidiary. So you have to make a plan and see what is required. You need an office, you need to invite people, you need to find then local people at certain moments, start to train them, etc., etc. So you create a plan and you start to follow this plan. And in my case, it was, of course, easier that we could invite engineers from other countries who would come and perform the project eventually. But my idea was to build up a local business, not just rely on existing engineers from other countries. And it was not easy. Also, it was a totally men's world. And to become a managing director of a company without a background of working in that company, you have to really prove that you are capable and that you will not take too many risks and that you will achieve the desired results and eventually will become a profitable company and will have a good team who will be able to perform good projects. But yeah, the start is, of course, there is always uncertainty, which you have to overcome as a person who starts this business. And you just have to believe in yourself and not think too much and act according to your plan.
Well, that says a lot about you. As a woman, you managed to secure that role, becoming the MD in a male-dominated environment. Every founder has a moment when they realize that this might actually work. Can you tell us the story of your first big win with your company, the first major client or milestone, and what that moment felt like?
Talking about my own company, of course, winning a new client, it was a major milestone. And the first client when I started was a Belgian company busy with baby diapers and hygienic products. And it was a big project. And when they appointed me as the general manager of their subsidiary, that was I considered it as a major win, and I felt very satisfied and very happy, of course, with this. And I wanted to prove that indeed I am capable to deliver what they are expecting from me. And eventually, it is a big satisfaction when you achieve this, indeed, that you start a new business, create a team, install the equipment, import this equipment, negotiate with the authorities, get all permits, etc. So it's a big challenging job. And another example is, of course, with this software company who initially was also my client in my advisory work. And again, when they promoted me to become the CEO in their subsidiary, where I eventually worked for 13 years almost.
Wow.
So it was also a very, very exciting time and very challenging, with a lot of opportunities. And I must say, with them, I felt extremely happy when I myself brought in a new customer. So, because the German group, we had Volkswagen as a first client, but somehow after the project was implemented, we had to look for new projects ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I had to travel to Paris for that, to meet with Peugeot and to say that, we have a local company with engineers. We are very good and we have experience and we achieved this and that. And when they eventually ordered a project from us, it felt very, very good that I personally could achieve this milestone and start independently working with our team on projects that we were in ourselves. It was rewarding.
Awesome. It sounds really good. I can only just imagine how you must have felt with all those recognitions and being able to achieve so much for not just yourself, but other companies. Let's move over to your work as an architect of ecosystems. We often talk about strategic partnerships in terms of technology and market fit, but they are fundamentally about human relationships. So can you tell us about a time a potential partnership looked perfect on paper, but you walked away because the human element, the trust or the shared vision just wasn't there?
I had different interactions with different partners and partnerships, but I think the one that I remember the most was actually not just the relationship, but it was really fraud and even sabotage, which we come across. And it was within the group and fraud by one of the general managers who was responsible for certain part of the group, but eventually created his own business and moved some people to his own business and in a way was using some of our engineers for his projects. Wow. in different countries, in Ukraine, in Poland, in China, etc. And it was a German team that they created initially. And I must say it was a very strange feeling that you talk to people and you just feel that they are not willing to work with you and they are finding the way not to send their people. For example, you propose some project to perform jointly and they say, the rate is not sufficient for us, or our people don't want to travel to that country, or something else. And you don't understand actually what the problem is. But at certain moments, I must say, I had to even hire detectives and follow up on certain strange things. And it ended up in a long, 6 years long court hearings. And the person in Germany was eventually imprisoned even. And but we were able to prove that we were right and he was wrong. And what he and his nearest team were doing was wrong and unfair and incorrect. But it took a lot of effort, a lot of struggle. Initially, not being understand what wrong are you doing. You think that you are doing everything right, but you feel that you don't have an understanding and you think how to overcome it. But I'm very happy that I went through it and that we went through it successfully eventually, and that the right things were supported by the court and that you really could prove to the employees even, because they don't understand who is right, who is wrong sometimes. And the fact that the person was imprisoned was a good proof that we were doing right things. So, I have very broad experience in different matters, including even something like that.
Honestly, I didn't think your story was going to be that extreme. It's very sad when people take advantage of their infrastructure and employees for their own personal gains. But I'm so glad you were able to stay with it and in a determined fashion bring it to a conclusion. That shows courage.
It's true. It's true. You always have to believe in yourself. But of course, you also have to be honest. Sometimes you try to save on something or to find an easier way to perform certain things. But in the end of the day, you have to be honest and not to do fraudulent things. And be honest with your partners, with your employees, with your management, and with yourself even. You have to know that what you are doing is right. And because it's right, you will be able to win and you will get where you want and you will get what you want. It does require courage, but in the end of the day, it's rewarding when you get to where you wanted to get and you get what you wanted to get. So it is important to be honest with others and with yourself.
I 100% agree with you. So this brings me to your work with Fimple. When you're building a relationship with a new partner in a new country as part of Fimple's global expansion, how do you find people you trust, or do you build that trust with new, untested people, especially across different cultures?
With Fimple, I had very good international experience, but I must say I always work from the start with different international people from different countries, with different cultures, etc. But with Fimple, I experienced maybe other cultures than I was used to, because I always worked with Westerners or CIS, Eastern Europe, Western Europe. So in a way, I knew already how this world works and how I have to act, etc. But with Fimple, I have worked a lot with people from another religion. I am Christian myself, while I had a lot of Muslim partners or colleagues. I worked a lot with the Turkish people, a lot with the Arabic people. And it was extremely interesting as well. And I must say, I always like to learn about new cultures, to learn to know other people from different countries. You see that there are differences, but you also see that all these differences are possible to overcome, and that in the end of the day, we are all people, we are having the same values eventually about family, children, life, development of yourself, of your family, and wishing to grow for the company and to get personal growth. So in that respect, I must say that for me, it's always important to show respect and interest in other people, in other cultures. But this interest, for example, I don't have to fake it. I'm really interested to learn to know other people, what they do, what they are used to do, what their culture, surroundings, how they cope with that. So in that respect, it's very important to stay authentic. And often I can show what I would do in this case and what my interest is. And I find it always important to have mutual respect, but to stay authentic and show this authenticity to other people and show your respect and that you are interested in their culture as well.
Yes, I agree with you. Different cultures does not mean different values per se. You're talking about respect, authenticity, and all of those things are common across all cultures. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
You are a passionate champion for empowering women and driving innovation in fintech. What fuels that passion? Was there a specific moment or experience in your own career that made you say, I have to work to make this better for the women who come after me? And can you tell us a bit about the ways you work to empower women in fintech?
I I must say, when I came to Fimple, I was surprised how many women work for Fimple, because my previous experience from software development company in an industrial world for automotives, for like conveyor lines, software for conveyors, for production lines, or for some engines, mechanisms, that was totally a men's world. And it was, in that respect, it was probably more difficult for me to survive there as a woman. Definitely on the managerial position, because I had to prove often, not to my team, because I must say for a long time, for many years, I was the only woman in the company. We had like a team of 20 people or something, engineers mostly. Even the chief accountant was male at that in the beginning. But I had never issues with my team who worked for me, because you resolve daily issues. They respect you for what you can bring to the team. I respected them of course, for their engineering knowledge and for their technical knowledge, what they can do. And of course, if I had a request from a potential client, of course, I went to my engineers, and first thing I discussed, guys, will we be able to perform this or not? And after some time, of course, I was capable to do first assessment myself, because you know what kind of projects we perform, what language, what equipment, etc., etc. But in the end of the day, it was their last decision. Do we take this project or not? And if they tell me that, Marina, it's too complicated, we are not big enough or something, we will not, or it's another equipment, it will be too sophisticated for us. Of course, I had then a possibility to go to the group and ask whether maybe in the group we have a certain experience and expertise, whether they can support us with a new type of project, because then my team learns something new. But I can say that I have never felt issues with my team, and not major issues with the CEO of the group, for example, or the CEO of a global group. But maybe more with other general managers from other sister companies who would say, oh, she's not knowing this or that, she will take too many risks. And yeah, I felt sometimes that I have to really push through and apply more effort than a male person would have to do in this situation. So I did feel it. And when I came to Fimple, which is a more banking world, software for banks and financial institutions, in banking you have, in principle, much more women working. And SMEs, subject matter experts, often are women with extensive experience in banking. Of course, it's still not sufficient, and I think women should be promoted or asked to join fintech and technical directions and technical companies. And it's proven that when it's a mixture of different backgrounds, different cultures, when the team is diverse, it can achieve more, because you have different opinions, you have different views on certain issues, and then you can come up with a much more interesting solution than when all the same men from the same background or from the same company, same culture, they have same ideas.
Correct.
So in that respect, of course, women have to be more maybe directed to the technical disciplines and more to the also fintech area, because we all improve by diversifying the ecosystem, the environment. It will be much less disagreements and arguments when it's a mixed situation, and it helps to perform the joint work to achieve success together. Yeah. So I must say it's more women in financial area, but still not enough. And And I saw during the last 2.5 years a lot of women on high positions achieving high results and top positions in companies and performing very well and feeling very confident and winning prizes and winning respect from the colleagues, male or female colleagues, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it's down to the women to make those choices, those deliberate choices to go into more technical roles. Those roles are there. And I agree with you. Having a diverse team does bring creativity and different perspectives to help solve problems. But why do we think that women aren't going into fintech or choosing fintech as a career path? And those who are in fintech businesses, why they're not progressing as quickly as their male colleagues?
You know, in general, if I look at my male colleagues and female colleagues or friends or contacts, men often in an equal background, equal situation, equal knowledge base. When men don't know something, they just go for it. But women, they always think and doubt and, I'm not yet perfect, it should be better. I better first improve here and there and then I may be one day. And eventually, because of that, it happens that eventually male colleagues maybe achieve more, while when I speak with female colleagues or my contacts or friends, I say, you're perfectly suitable for this job, just go for it. And you know, I heard a good advice of one good female coach at a certain moment. She said the rule of three people, and I remember that, and since quite recently I started to apply it. You have to tell to 3 people about your aspirations, about what you want. And after you tell people, you start to act, at least, and people have expectations about your desires, your aspirations, what you want to achieve, etc. So women often are afraid to tell about that. Afraid they maybe speak at home or speak to their girlfriends or friends that they are not considered for promotion, for performing certain role, but they would like to do it, but they don't feel confident in putting them up front and saying, yes, I would like to do it. While in that respect, men are somehow more confident in doing that, even if they sometimes maybe know a little bit less than women. So I think women do have to be encouraged just to step up or step in front and say, yes, I can do it. And even if you don't know something, everybody, when they start something new, they have to learn certain things. But you have to believe in yourself and you have to believe that you are capable, you have certain background, okay. The new things is a new thing. You have to learn something new, but you have to know that another person would have to learn as well. So you will be able to perform this job and believe in yourself and do it.
Absolutely. This problem of lack of self-belief comes up not just in women's professional lives, but even in their personal lives. And it's sad that imposter syndrome seems to keep rearing its head and disrupting women's thought process and confidence in taking up roles and learning new things, whereas the men just go for it. Oh, well. You know, advocacy can be draining work. How do you maintain your own energy and resilience as you champion change for others in the industry?
Right. About my personal energy and resilience, I know I have to be active and I know I have to continue learning and do networking and try to help others, because by helping others, you somehow may get help in future.
Absolutely.
From totally an unexpected person or an unexpected moment. So it's very important to help others, to help your team, your colleagues also grow, and not afraid that maybe they will become better than you, because they become better, your work become less complicated, and you can do maybe other more advanced or more generalistic things with some strategy and observing a bigger picture. So in that respect, in terms of my own actions, learning, staying myself, staying authentic, and helping others to grow, and through that growing yourself is my way of acting and working.
Yep, growing yourself certainly gives you something to pour into other women. So that's a great strategy. When you mentor a young woman starting in fintech today, what's the first piece of advice you give her? Not about her technical skills, but more about navigating the culture and building her career.
I already, in a way, mentioned that the main advice is believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Believe that you will be able to achieve great things. And definitely when you have a technical background, you have to then believe that you can apply this technical knowledge and other knowledge, learn about new developments, modern achievements in technology, etc. But it's all important. But first of all, believe in yourself. And I think it's the main thing. You know, some people, maybe religious people, believe in God, that God will help them. And that's also good, because in a way, you still believe in yourself, that the God will help you to achieve what you want.
Right.
Or you, if you don't believe in God or don't think God sees your little thing in the world, you then believe in yourself and you think, okay, I have to act and then I will achieve what I want. But definitely when you believe in yourself and when you believe that you will achieve great results, you start to act. You start to make certain steps towards your goal. And therefore, just believing in yourself makes you moving to your goal. And that's the main message. Therefore, believe in yourself and believe that you can do it, that you can achieve great results, and you can prove to yourself and to others that you are good in what you are doing, and just do it.
That's a great finishing touch to our session. Believe in yourself. Marina, I would like to say a huge thank you for your time and for joining us here on the We Win podcast. I'm sure that a lot of women out there who are running away from fintech will think again about taking up the challenge and believing in themselves. I hope we can call on you to join us another time, but thank you so much for today.
Thank you very much, Lolita. It's my pleasure to participate, and I hope that my story will help somebody to overcome their concerns and reservations and believe in yourself and try to achieve what they want to do. And it's maybe another thing which is important. People have to be happy in what they're doing. So you have to like your work and believe that you can achieve great things. And that's the main thing.
Absolutely. Ladies, you've heard it all. We don't need to be running away from technical roles. We are equally up to the task if we just believe in ourselves. The fintechs are waiting. They're waiting for your ideas, your perspectives, your creativity. So let's join the movement and let's move forward with confidence and passion. We can do this. We've got this. Thank you once again for listening to the We Win podcast, powered by Accelerate Her Africa.